Mangwanani Mwalelepo Vukenjani Kleklas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Bedi on Wednesday, the 21st of August. Some of the top stories we'll be looking at today in South Africa. Home Affairs identifies ID theft victim and 2 officials are currently being investigated. In Kenya, the top court suspends judgment nullifying the 2023 finance law. We'll also be talking to Adi Hokat as he brings us latest stories from South Africa, including the current defections from the EFF party, amongst other stories. Top stories after the break. DSTV 285, GoTV25, oneup2.com is precisely where you can find us.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
We start our top stories in South Africa, where the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs has been informed that 2 Department of Home Affairs officials are under investigation for alleged involvement in fraud committed by Chidima Adetshina's mother. On August 7, the department announced that following an investigation into its archival records and hospital visits, there were prima facie reasons to believe that fraud and identity theft may have been committed by the person recorded in Home Affairs records as Adetshina's mother. An innocent South African mother whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud committed by Adetshina's mother suffered as a result because she could not register her child, said the department at the time. The department has broadened its investigation to identify and pursue any officials involved in the alleged fraudulent scheme and is obtaining legal advice on the implications of the alleged fraudulent activity on Adetshina's citizenship status. Now, moving on to our next story, Kenya's top court on Tuesday suspended a lower court's ruling that the 2023 finance law was unconstitutional, saying it was important to preserve stability in the budget until the merits of the government's appeal were heard next month. The finance bills presented to Parliament at the start of every financial year are the main vehicle for the government to set out its revenue-raising measures, including tax hikes. The Court of Appeal's judgment late last month that last year's Finance Act was unconstitutional was a blow to the government of President William Ruto, who withdrew this year's finance bill in June in the face of youth-led protests, the biggest challenge of his 2-year presidency. Democratic Movement of Mozambique presidential candidate Lutero Simango has promised to further reduce value-added tax as well as personal income tax if elected. Speaking in an STV presidential candidate interview, Simango said that the reduction of these taxes would expand the country's tax base. He acknowledged, however, that the impact would be negative in the first 7 months, but said he believed the situation would improve after a year. The reduction of VAT, the MDM presidential candidate said, would lower prices generally and especially the price of liquid fuels. Now, to prevent mpox from entering the country, Uganda has intensified surveillance in its border areas with the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is a hotspot for the virus. Currently, Uganda has no active cases of mpox, according to the country's Ministry of Health. The 2 imported cases in late July have been treated and resolved without complications. Up to now, the ministry has designated more than 20 districts along its border with the DRC as high-risk areas for mpox transmission. Uganda's health authorities also rolled out a nationwide training program for health workers to help them better detect and isolate suspected cases. And Gabon's interim president, who seized power in a coup a year ago, has barred members of his transitional government from holidaying abroad. General Oligui Nguema has also limited government officials to a maximum of 1 week of holiday leave. These new restrictions were announced on state television after he told the country to listen to people's concerns. There is speculation that General Nguema may be softening the ground to run for president in next year's election. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we talk to Ari Hogad as he brings us the latest stories from South Africa.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Ari Hogad in South Africa as he brings us the latest news stories. Good morning, Ari.
Yes, a very good morning, Ashwin. Nice to talk to you. Yeah, lots to talk about in South Africa.
Good to have you here. Now, Transnet Freight Rail currently looking at several initiatives to improve the capacity of the important North Corridor line. Could you please tell us more?
Yes, it is. Firstly, it is Transnet that is still struggling with massive debt. So that's the starting point. Trying to work that back, and for that not to grow, they need to make profits. The debt at the moment is still 150 billion South African rand that they need to work down. To put it into context, they're paying 1 billion South African rand monthly towards those debts, so that can't be contained. The government also put in 47 billion rand in December last year into Transnet. But the corridor, there's the coal being loaded onto the trains. So the northern corridor, as they call it, is from the Mpumalanga area to Richards Bay on the coast. But there's been challenges with the railway supply. So going back a little bit, China Railway Rolling Stock Corporation, that's the corporation that they had a partnership with. But unfortunately, there's a legal action against them, so that they're not working together. That's people working on the locomotives to repair them. So the challenge is the South African Reserve Bank frees the bank accounts of the Chinese company. There's also legal action from SARS. That's all about the bribes and the state capturing the last 10 years. So that's legal stuff going on. But the problem is then the China's holding back parts that they need to repair these locomotives. Apparently, they found 80% of the parts is generic, and they can get it from other sources than from China. So they're not working together. So it's an ability to get critical parts that's a big, major role player here. So hopefully they will be able to fix most of that, and that they can get the tonnage up again. It used to be 70 million tons that was annually moved from Mpumalanga to the coast. Now it's about 45 million tons. So they need to get it up again. And then they can make some more income and money, and Transnet will be in a better situation.
All right, Ari. Now, politically, the big story has been EFF with some defections from top EFF leaders, which is certainly set to shake the entire political landscape in South Africa, especially considering that they are defecting to the MK party.
Yes, lots to talk about there. And I think the first thing to notice is that with those let's say, strong profiles from the EFF moving across, it is fair to say that it will be possibly emerge as a significant player in the SA politics. That's the MK party. What they lack at the moment is obviously structure, not a real constitution at the moment as well. So they went quickly into the elections, got lots of votes, and now they must be on the ground. That is Julius Malema. So he's in obviously cross swords now with Floyd Shivamba. He's a deputy that said that he's not going to be with the EFF anymore. They're going across to the MK party. Will probably have lots of other members following him. What's been happening, just the news breaking as well yesterday and this morning, is that there's 18 MPs of the MK party that has been sacked by the MK party. So they know more MPs. So indication is that they might be making space for people from the EFF moving across. But now they have a challenge within, because those 10 of those 18 taking them to court, and it's people that left their jobs to go into politics, etc., etc. Lots of infighting in the MK party at the moment as well. And ironically, it is Floyd Shivamba and Julius Malema that gave President Zuma lots of hassles in the last 10 years. last 5 years of his time as president, and now Floyd Shivamba is back again, coming back from the youth party of the ANC way back. So they know each other, but they've been in different situations before. So will they work together? But that is definitely something that is important in the South African politics at the moment.
Oh yes, without a doubt. I see potential trade-offs because, of course, those MK party folks are going to try and find a home, and, revenge politics is all over the place. We'll see what it looks like when it all stabilizes. But South Africa continues to grow its solar panel capacity as banks have started to assist with solar loans. A move in the right direction, Ari.
Yes, and it was triggered, of course, in the time where load shedding was a major challenge. At the moment, we got used to not having load shedding at the moment, so we went through the whole winter almost without load shedding. So something is working again somewhere. So definitely we do have electricity. It's expensive now, so there's increases, more increases that is going to come. So the solar systems obviously was firstly mostly because of the challenges of load shedding, but also it's a costing issue. So it's obviously a lot cheaper if you do have it, even if there's no load shedding. Standard Bank, one of the banks that's initiating with solar loans, so they have loans up from 3,000 Rand to 300,000 Rand that you can pay back over 5 years. So there's lots of clients since 2023, 220 million in loans have been given to households. So you can imagine there's lots of solar panels going onto roofs. That's helping also, obviously, the electricity providers quite a lot, and saving roughly just from these clients from Standard Bank about 40 million South African Rand that they saved on electricity bills. So that is the way to go, and we will see a lot more of that. At least something that one thing constant that we do have in South Africa, like in Namibia, is lots of sunshine. If it's not winter time in Cape Town, so that is the given. So it's a good thing to have on your roof.
Fair enough, Ari. Now, Qatar Airlines announced that they acquired a 25% stake in Airlink. This is the South African passenger airline. Of course, Qatar Airlines has been trying to make inroads into Africa. I know they have a Harare flight already set up.
Yes, exactly like you mentioned, and the reports say that Africa is the biggest growing economy in the airline industry. So that's the moment they're shaking hands on that deal, 25% stake. At the moment, it is Airlink that is a well-respected airline. They've got just 65 aircraft, but they're going to 45 destinations in 15 different countries. So they have a good foot into Africa already. Qatar is very aggressive in their partnerships. They already also have a partnership with Royal Air Maroc, so it's Moroccan Airways, and they also have a 49% stake in Rwanda Air. So they're partnering with a respected and airlines that is doing well in Africa. So a good acquisition for Airlink. Also Qatar is also partnering, or Airlink also partnered with Emirates and United Airways and British Airways and Lufthansa as well. There's little partnerships there as well. But the big one now is with Qatar. So it is a strong partnership. It will make Airlink a lot stronger, and we could probably look that they will grow their footprint into more countries with more destinations.
All right, but thank you very much, Ari, for bringing us new stories from one of Africa's favorite destinations, South Africa.
Thank you, Ashwin. Great to talk to you, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
We certainly look forward to it. Let's have a look at the weather predictions before we return with economic news. We start our economic news stories in Zambia, where the Energy Minister Makozo Chikote held a press briefing to address the nation on the current energy situation, highlighting the challenges and measures being implemented to manage the country's power supply. This week, the available power generation remains at an average of 890 megawatts, significantly below the installed generation capacity of 3,777 megawatts. The national peak demand stands at 2,400 megawatts, leaving a power deficit of 1,510 megawatts. To mitigate this shortfall, ZESCO Limited, along with other traders, is importing 496 megawatts of power from the region. However, this still leaves a net deficit of 1,014 megawatts, resulting in over 12 hours of power rationing across the country. We did touch on that story with Mike Sichula, and he'll bring us more details during the week. Now, the East African Community Secretary General Veronica Nduva has emphasized the need for the regional private sector to align national interests with regional benefits to enhance economic integration and growth. Nduva made the remarks during the recent Secretary General Roundtable in Nairobi, hosted by the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. According to a statement posted on the EAC Secretariat website, this roundtable is a key platform for driving regional economic integration, improving the business climate, and ensuring the private sector's voice is incorporated into policy making. Those have been our economic news stories. Let's have a look at the economic indicators just before Ari Hochad swings back with the sport.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first. It is the Cincinnati Open that is completed, and it's now building up to the US Open. It was the finals that was played, and in the men's final it was the world number one, it's Yannick Sinner. He won the tournament. He beat Francis Tiafoe. He beat him by 7-6 and 6-2. It is Francis Tiafoe that was unseeded in the tournament, so a great tournament for him. In the women's side of the draw, it is Aryna Sabalenka that won the tournament. She beat American Jessica Pegula by 6-3 and 7-5. It is Aryna Sabalenka that will be one of the favorites, or the favorite, on the hard courts. She also won the Australian Open on a similar surface, and it is the US Open that will start this coming Monday, and it is the fourth major of the year. Moving on to motorcycle news, it is the MotoGP news. The standings at the moment, the point standings is that Jorge Martin is leading on his Ducati on 241 points. That's after a second place in the Austrian Grand Prix. It was Francisco Bagnaia, also in the Ducati, that won the Austrian Grand Prix. He's in second position on 238. And then in third position is Anea Bastianini with 192 points. And South African Brad Binder, he's in seventh position overall on 114 points. He had a good Austrian Grand Prix. He started on 12th position and finished in 5th position. That was the Austrian Grand Prix the past weekend. Closing off today's international sports news with soccer news, it is the English Premier League that's in full swing. It was a Monday night game and it was Leicester that hosted Tottenham Hotspur, and it was a tough game that ended 1-1 draw. Good result for Leicester. They didn't play in the Premier League last year. They were out of the Premier League for one season, back again, so a good result for them at home against difficult opponents. The next game for Leicester this coming weekend will be against Fulham. That will be a away game for them, and it is Manchester City that will host the team of Ipswich. That will be on Saturday. It is Manchester City, the defending champions. They started off with a win the past weekend, and also some of the other big names in the English Premier League also started with wins like Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United. So the English Premier League that will continue this coming weekend. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the broadcast. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from this morning. Home Affairs identifies ID theft victim, 2 officials being investigated. This is in South Africa. Kenya's top court suspends judgment nullifying 2023 finance law. And Energy Minister updates nation on power and water situation, that is in Zambia. DSTV 2 at 5, GoTV 25, 1up2.com is precisely where you can find us. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning. We'll return with more news stories tomorrow. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jaganaka.